Steaming, pearly white lobster meat, perfectly cooked, catching a cascade of melted butter. Taking a premium, expensive ingredient like a raw lobster tail and executing it at this flawless restaurant-quality standard takes under 15 minutes from start to finish. You need 5 specific things to execute this technique without fail: heavy-duty kitchen shears, an 8-inch chef's knife, kosher salt, butter, and a fresh lemon. Before any cutting happens, the lobster tail must be completely thawed. Taking shears to a fully frozen shell is physically dangerous, and the brittle shell will shatter instead of cutting cleanly. By gathering the exact tools and ensuring the tail is fully thawed, we eliminate the most common failure points before the cooking even begins. Place your thawed tail shell side up on a non-slip cutting board. Take your shears and cut straight down the natural ridge in the center of the shell. Stop cutting right before you reach the tail fan. Keeping that base intact preserves the entire structure of the dish. Now switch to your chef's knife. Insert the tip into the split you just made and slice directly down the center of the newly exposed meat. This brings us to the hinge. Slice through the meat, but stop precisely 3/4 of the way down, leaving the bottom membrane uncut. If you press the blade all the way through, the structure collapses. The halves will separate entirely, ruining the plating. With the cut made, grip the sides of the shell and gently pull the halves outward, pressing them open like a book. Notice how the meat stays securely anchored to the base shell, while the thickest portions are pushed upward and exposed. Take a moment to inspect that exposed center. If you see a dark intestinal vein running down the meat, lift it out with the tip of your knife and discard it. Finally, pat the meat completely dry with a paper towel. Excess surface moisture creates steam, and we want a hard sear. This open book architecture is highly efficient for cooking. It maximizes the surface area exposed to the heat source, meaning the lobster cooks 25% faster and eagerly absorbs your basting flavors. Season the dry, exposed meat directly with salt and brush it generously with room temperature butter. Whether placed under an intense broiler or face down on hot grill grates, the heat reacts with the fat, triggering an aggressive, sizzling sear. To know exactly when the lobster is done, we rely on established safety standards. Look closely at the chart's rule for lobster. Cook until the flesh is pearly and opaque. In the pan, watch for that raw, grayish translucence to completely vanish. To be absolutely certain, check the thickest part of the tail with an instant read thermometer. You are aiming for a core temperature between 140 and 145 degrees Fahrenheit. Going higher guarantees a tough, rubbery texture. Combining the visual cue of opaque meat with a precise temperature check removes the guesswork. You get perfectly tender lobster on every single attempt. Pull the tail from the heat. You are looking for a striking contrast: fiery orange shells cradling bright, glistening white meat. Finish the hot lobster with another baste of drawn butter and a fresh squeeze of citrus to cut the richness. Notice how the bottom hinge held strong, creating a perfect natural cradle for the seared meat to rest inside. Mastering the butterfly cut and holding to strict temperature limits takes the intimidation out of premium seafood. You now have a reliable, repeatable technique for a flawless plate.